Hi there, welcome back to another quick and easy watercolor painting. Today we're going to work in pen, and I'm going to put the watercolor over the pen. Now, normally, if you've watched me before, you know that much of the time I use pen at the end. Maybe not much of the time, but occasionally I use pen at the end. And, to highlight whatever it is I might be thinking about or working on. This. Now we need to let this dry for a few minutes. Finish whatever it is that you want to put on it, and then let it dry for a few minutes till you get to the point where it's the ink is all completely dry. Now with Sharpie pen, it will dry very quickly, and it's usually quite water tight. I'm going to put a few more circular hatching here. Curved hatching would be the proper term for this. Wherever it is that you think you need it. All right, let's let that dry for a second. You can take a hair dryer to it, whatever it is you want to do. All right, so I took the hair dryer to that for a few seconds. I have a big flat brush here, and I'm essentially going to go from the top to the bottom. I'm not going to put a lot of water on this, but probably one flat brush full. And I'm going to put a little bit of Payne's Gray on here, and then I'm going to take a little bit of blue, and I'm just going to put a little swipe of blue like that. All right, not going to do any more than that. I'm going to put a tree line back in here quite a ways, and I'm going to use Payne's Gray, and I'm just going to tap my brush across here like that, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of the pigment right on the brush. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to let that all bleed back into the background back there. And you can see right here where that started to go over my drawing. I'm just going to take my thirsty brush, drag it right across like that. Okay, same here, thirsty brush, drag it right across, and pull all that out. You can take the brush. Thirsty brush just means it's a brush that was wet. Then you dry it, and you drag your brush across like that, and that'll lift that right out of that area for you. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of, there's some Payne's Gray across here, but I'm going to put a little bit of yellow ochre in here. This is supposed to be fall, so let's just put a little bit of yellow ochre, just like that, sort of just smeared across. Maybe a little bit of sienna in there too. Just like that. That's not too bad. You see those quick strokes like that? And you can see where my Payne's Gray has started to come back down in there again. Rinse your brush off, dry it, and take the brush, drag it across there. Same here. And you can just keep pushing that right across there. You see how that started to look like trees way back in the distance back there. I'm going to put a little bit more of this sienna color across here. It's not too bad. All right, let's let this dry and see what we get. All right, let's put our mat on here and see what we get. Yeah, that's not too bad at all. I love how these trees are like way back in the far background. I love this foreground here too. This turned out really well. I think that's how I'd probably mat it. A little bit left of center. I love how these sharp little branches came out like that. All right, I mean, you could go in here and paint this tree for sure if you wanted to. I think it looks all right the way it is. All right, if you're currently a subscriber, thanks a lot. If you're not currently a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you again next time.